Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street, a Hedera hash graph update video for you guys today. HBAR, HBAR on the exchange. I have not done a video on Hedera for 8 months. Absolute disgrace, although to be fair, I was away from the channel for a few months, as many of you know. But that does not mean that I was not accumulating Hedera at the low price points that we had many months ago, and it's great to again see another great crypto asset, more importantly technology and company, having a great time in the markets also. For those that are new to Hedera, you can check out our introductory videos on this great project. Again, fortunate to have met a lot of the team over the last couple of years. It really is one of my favorites. I would actually say, for those that have been following the channel, technologically wise, my favorite project was always IOTA, for its DAG protocol, or direct acyclic graph. And aside from some others, Hedera is definitely in my top 5, and certainly ones that I kind of have the principle really that is a long-term hold, in the sense that the next 10, 15, 20 years, I think this is going to be a substantial player, not just in the markets, but actually in the world in general of its utilization. Direct acyclic graph, again, as many of you have been following the channel will know my excitement towards this technological aspect of blockchain. I think it's a great example of how blockchain is really truly going to work alongside the likes of IoT and AI, 5G, 6G, 7G, you name it. But yes, DAG in my opinion is what will glue everything together. It will make everything work, and Hedera prides itself on that kind of basis of technology as well. So we're going into a bit more detail, guys, of a couple of things that are going on with HBAR in the last few weeks. Essentially some of the pinnacle reasons why maybe the price has risen substantially, not just for HBAR directly either. I think it's definitely had an influence from other areas. We'll look into that shortly. Also, if you haven't done so already, guys, do smash that subscribe button. Welcome to the channel if you're new. And of course, don't forget to watch other videos on the channel. Also, loads of different projects and topics always discussed. We try and cover as many as possible. Let's go into this, guys. So Hedera, very quick overview, as I've just said, relating to the DAG protocol. Phenomenal, really. It's obviously as well something that is very heavily linked with many companies worldwide already. For those that don't know, there's for a better word, a consortium for Hedera, a board, a members board, if you like, made up of several major companies, likes of Google, etc., are on there. And it just keeps growing. It keeps getting bigger and better. So this ownership, or the governing or governance of the project, is really interesting for sure. But the technology itself, for me personally, is where it's really truly exciting. I mean, we've done topics around diamonds, the fractionalization of diamonds. If you haven't watched that yet, do check it out. I'll leave it at the end of this video. It's phenomenal. The diamond market in general, but the fact that only 1% of the current supply of diamonds is used for investment purposes. Now with the ability of fractionalization or NFT basis, tokenization of real world assets, this opens the door to anyone and everyone wanting a piece of that diamond pie. And it's the same principles for healthcare. It's the same principles for real estate. I've been talking about this for years and years and years. But we are now in a really interesting pinnacle area of crypto in terms of adoption. I'm not personally any interest whatsoever really in meme coins or anything like that. I hold some of these projects. Yes, some people can laugh and say they're stable coins. They haven't moved for years. I know what they are, and they're long-term projects for me. Yes, I could have played more of a game perhaps to trade elsewhere, build up a portfolio of money and use that to invest in these kind of projects more and more. But I stood my ground. It's just my personal opinion, my personal strategy, and I've kept very strong beliefs and strong momentum in projects like Hedera and others in my portfolio, and that will never change. We'll go into the chart shortly in terms of my movements, but also what's been going on. But just to reiterate some of the news recently, Canary Capital officially filed an S-1 registration with the US SEC for an exchange-traded fund centered on Hedera's HBAR token. If approved, this would be the first HBAR spot ETF, allowing investors to gain exposure to the value of HBAR, the native token of Hedera network. Now, ETFs is a huge topic the last sort of 12 months or so, where Bitcoin had one, Ethereum, there's a couple of others as well, many on the horizon. And this is arguably what we've been waiting for as holders of crypto for many years. Now, I've only been here since 2019, 2020-ish. Many people way before that, many people still from the beginning days. Maybe they've just not bothered anymore because they made so much, right? But they're still there for sure in the background, holding on for the days like the weeks that we've been seeing recently, and also what's to come in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. For me, I think this opening up of ETFs is incredible. We've seen things like a YouTube short I did earlier today on Coinbase having the Apple Pay integration. We talked about this similarity with PayPal ones in the past as well. It's opening up millions upon millions, if not billions of people around the world to allow easy access, obviously, once you've done your KYC, to have access to crypto. What does that do for existing holders? And what does it do for project holders like myself when we're holding projects like this for a long time? For sure, it gets really exciting. So we have to be a bit level-headed with it because, the markets are always kind of volatile in this principle. In my mindset, in 10, 15, 20 years' time, there'll be a lot more stability in the crypto markets, or at least maybe not even the ability of exchanges anymore. Perhaps it does just evolve to the fact that it is ETF based or pension based or hedge fund based or through your bank accounts to have access to these. Obviously the crypto exchanges have done their best for regulation and aspirations towards standardizations of that, adhering to legalities of different countries that they operate in. But you do think sometimes, or I think at least, with an open mind that in the near future, the whole face of the crypto area will change. And that includes as well the reduction of amount of crypto assets that are out there in the world. As I mentioned before in previous videos, when I was first in the game of crypto, it's about 8 to 10,000 crypto assets. It's like 2.4 million. We don't need that many. So you have to be thinking ahead and thinking, well, actually, which ones are going to survive? So when you're doing your long-term investments, that could be quite interesting before the prices got phenomenally high. So to see this kind of news and rumors is absolutely phenomenal. Well, I say it's a rumor. I mean, apparently it's officially filed. I haven't actually researched yet into the documentation on that, but it is super exciting for sure to see a project, not just because I'm holding it. Even if I wasn't holding it, I'd still be very excited because I know what the Hedera technology is. I think it's phenomenal. So yeah, it's good to see this in the crypto space for sure. As I said, it's opening up a multitude of markets. Here's a reminder of the diamond one. $1.2 trillion diamond market out there, guys, up for investment, which is phenomenal. And that number has been growing nicely over the last 12 months or so with Hedera as well, in terms of all these real world assets being traded on Hedera also. So you can start to see, even already, this number, which was 18 months or whenever I did the first video, it was only just launched, has now already facilitated 2.5 million worth of dollars in tokenized diamonds trading volume. I think that's brilliant. And it opens up the prospect of all the other sectors and industries that this could allow availability, adoption of from the general public, anyone and everyone. This is now not the game for the selected few. It's now not the game for the speculators. It's now not even the game for people who think that they are ahead in this game. Is now available pretty much for everyone, billions of people worldwide. And when that happens over this next 5 years, wow, what is this going to do to all the price points of all the crypto assets that we hold or perceived to want to hold in the near future. It's absolutely exciting for sure. Let us know what you think about that in the comments, because I know it's a bit of a deep topic. Maybe we went too far into the deepness of this conversation, but it's a great principle to think about. Now, the Hedera price, I haven't really looked at this chart for 8 months probably since the last video. But what's interesting is if we look back at the mechanisms of the drawings of where we're perceiving Hedera to be and where we thought it would be going, until we knew obviously in 2025 that the market would accelerate at some point. Well, it's done it a bit earlier. I'm still cautious about this uprise in the crypto market. There's a lot of FOMO going on. We have to be cautious of this. We also have to adhere to the RSI strategies on the bottom left here to suggest that on this moment in time, 86 and 83 respectively on the 14 and 28 day, there's room for movement still for sure in the upward trend, but it's squeezing. It's very minimal now. So if you're a new investor to Hedera, you just got to play with caution, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course, but just from personal experience a few years back. Saying that, if we can get stability, in fact, I'm going to have to pull these across because I can't really see across the board properly. Oh, apologies. Let's just make sure I get that across properly. So that's on 034-ish, I think it was on. Let's just make sure that's as near as I can, around about there. I also take this mid-range one a bit further across as well, just taking that from the 14 mark. In fact, to be honest, I'm just going to line it quickly with the blue short-term one as well. So it looks a bit messy, but I'm just going to zoom in, and you're going to see two different things here. So we've got, if I just pull that back across to here, so we've got a bit of a disalignment. So what we've got here now is a longer term and more of a medium term. If we really wanted to, we can take this most recent high point as well and chuck that in for one of the lower points that we had also, just for a third recognition. But this is going to become quite clear when we talk about it. So at the moment, as of recording, currently trading around 28 cents. Just pull that up for the confirmation. We hit a high point earlier today of 30 cents. So still nowhere near the previous highs that we've seen in the past. Back here, for example, let's move this to the adverts, and that's to the advert. Back in September 2021, 57 cents was the highest point. So it's not far off, actually, when you think about it. So there's not much more to push to get to those areas. But in the meantime, we have to look at some stability here. So we saw some of that back here at the end of November. I'm talking about like 2 days ago, really, before it jumped significantly higher again. But if we scroll back to 2 weeks ago-ish, roughly, you can see it had this nice uprise, creating that J format, really. Some people call it like many different things. I'm just going to put in a price range chart here so we can see the two levels of interest as well. So taking it from this really low point here to one of the lower mechanisms that we've drawn in from a medium chart. Get my medium chart. Excellent. So yeah, we played up to there, 244% rise there from that beginning point, and even now from that low point, 759%. So in the last 2 weeks, we can probably actually take it from here, really. Let's just use the monthly for an example. 541%. That's really, really positive to see. Now, on the longer term ones, year to date and the year are even better. Look at this, 367% on the year, and a year to date of 240. Consider ourselves a few months ago where we're thinking, when is this actually going to turn around? When is it going to start getting exciting again? Well, that moment has arrived, guys. So again, with caution, who knows? December just might be an absolute giant uprise, FOMO activity of other assets, particularly with the ones, I don't like to call them the ISO 222 coins, even though most of them are standardized with that now in the financial remit. But it's that group of collective assets that we're all familiar with, like XRP, XLM, Hedera, etc., that we try to cover on this channel. It's going to have that upward effect because people are like, oh, if this happened to XRP, it's going to happen to all the other ones that I've been holding for 5, 6, 10, however many years. So we've got to just be wary of that this could come down at any moment. Just as much as it's gone as high as it did so quickly, it can come down low as quickly as possible as well. So just bear it in mind. I personally think then this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the 2025 bull run. We'll get confirmations over that, I think, over December, but we've just got to be having that cautious mindset. So it's currently retracing itself back, probably nearer towards this 27 mark. Will it bounce and stabilize here and then start testing these higher areas will remain to be seen. But what I'm really interested in from a selling perspective, I haven't sold any Hedera since I've been buying at these low. I was buying it about the 4-5 cents in this wonderful period here. So the return is already there fantastically. But whether it's greedy or not, maybe I should be taking what I do with XRP at the moment, just little bits out here and there as we go up in the progression, because we don't know where the top is. But there's a part of me that's saying with Hedera, I'm not as fast as I am with XRP until we get to the really high regions. And if that means I have to wait another 5 years or so, so be it. I'm not going to use emotion in this market. It's a dangerous thing to do. So actually, if I was to take my first selling point, I'm quite interested in this one here. It's got 2 confirmations actually from 2 separate different fib levels. So it's a great principle to think about. 41 cents. Now, for me personally, it wasn't too far off earlier today, but because these fib lines aren't 100% accurate, they're very much there or thereabouts. You notice they're not on like rounded numbers or anything like that. It gives me the indication to try and maybe take something, put like 2 different amounts of selling opportunity around that area. So for example, at 38 or 39 cents, maybe at 43, 44. Now, if it accelerates higher than that, so be it. I can still make some more manual decisions. With XRP at the moment, I've been doing exactly that, where I've gone, okay, I'm going to take these 2 areas. I'm kind of confidently thinking that it won't go to a certain price overnight. There's a kind of a difficulty there in the sense that you could just keep doing this all day and all night. Like, it's crazy. It reminds me of 2021 so much because, of course, in the COVID times as well, the pandemic, it was me being up at like 3-4 in the morning waiting for the Asian markets to open, then the UK, then the US. It was chaos. Like, I was so tired, but I was just trying to get things done, for the future. So here we are. It's playing out in this area. I'm really intrigued to see if we can get up to that 40-ish cent mark. The next plays up there, guys, are very much near those previous highs that we've seen back in 2021. So it's not a huge ask. And with the way that the rest of the market's been playing at the moment, there's no reason why that can't happen in a really short period of time. But equally, on the other side of it, if we were selling at these higher areas, could we make that transition backwards where we start seeing halvings of these or 70% corrections? We saw a lot of that in previous markets where we saw acceleration like this, 200-300% accelerations, but then there was a 70% drop within a 48 period. You used to call it the Blood Mondays, the Blood Red Mondays. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but literally pretty much every week was chaos in the markets. The networks would go down. You couldn't do anything. And then you try and buy stuff. We've learned the lesson now, obviously, to hold some fiat somewhere, either an exchange is on the ledger ready to go. But now, of course, with the likes of Coinbase on ramping and things like that, it seems like it might be even easier than ever before. So it's really, really exciting in that perspective. But yeah, it's an interesting topic, Hedera. It's an interesting chart move at the moment. It's very much poised right now to say that there's a bit of a squeeze upwards still to go. But we do need some stability. Like, I would actually probably not disagree too much with this kind of stability. Because if you look, if we can just trace that RSIs back to sort of the 70 mark, there's no reason why we can't accelerate higher to that 40 cent mark. And that would be fantastic. I think that would be really a really great milestone to get to. So let us know in the comments below what you're thinking right now with the concept of Hedera in general. Have you been holding it for a long time? Are you new to Hedera? Do you want to learn more? If you want some refresh videos, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. But yes, as I said, just because I'm a holder of Hedera, even if I wasn't, I'd be covering this project left, right, and center because the technology, which in my mind, because I'm odd, like I'm not too majorly, I am fussed about the money to an extent. Obviously, I was a waste of my time, but I'm more interested in the technology. It's why I got into the blockchain space in the first place, because the understanding that I have, this really has a substantial amount of power and opportunity in the future. Guys, we'll wrap that up there. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you in the next Hedera video. Take care and bye-bye.